Hey guys, I'm gonna make this video today, and it's gonna be a little different than what I usually make. And you can tell by this title what it's about. But yeah, this is a review of a TV show called 6 Feet Under, and I just have. It's kind of funny. It kind of sneaks into my life from time to time. And it's very interesting how it does that, how that happens. You feel different things in your life sometimes that remind you of certain things. You get triggered in a way, not in a negative way, but in a good way. And yeah, try not to be too long and drawn out, but I'll just say from the start that 6 Feet Under is a show that I watched at I think a really critical, intense moment in my life. Go. There's people who are like waiting for this guy to cross, but his hazard lights are on and he can't go anywhere. But yeah, I can't. Sorry. But anyway, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right here in this intersection, and confusion because someone has stopped and people want them to go but they can't go. But anyway, I watched this. It's just a very meaningful show, and it's kind of hard to talk about because it's so important, I want to say, and it's special, and I just want to cherish it, and I want to share how important it is with everyone. And I want to share the experience with everyone because it's so amazing. But I know not everybody's going to get a chance to watch it and that sort of thing. But with that said, it is... this might be a boring video, I guess. Maybe not, but maybe it's just kind of hard to understand if you haven't seen the show. But if you have seen the show, then you'll appreciate this in a different way, or even more. But yeah, I was going through a really tough time in my life when I decided to watch this show, and I didn't even realize how tough the time was. And the show provided a certain catharsis for me in my life to take control of my life more, to focus on my life more, and to take back my life out of the hands of other people, and for better or for worse. For better though, because it's a great thing to live your life for other people, but to some extent you have to enjoy your life. And if you're not enjoying your life, then and you're able to make changes, then you should definitely make changes. And that's where I was at. And the show just really helped put a lot of things into perspective for me. It's just such an amazing show, and I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you could cry. You could cry thinking about the show, just thinking about it, or reminiscing, or watching it, of course. But such an amazing, funny show, powerful show, and unique show, original show, all those things. Just amazing. And I highly encourage every mature adult, I'd say, to watch this show. And I will preface it by saying just my own little disclaimer here. And this isn't fun to say sometimes, but it's totally necessary in my opinion. At least for me and for my family and friends. Like, I got my parents to watch this show, but it has a lot of stuff in it that you don't necessarily want to see. And to be fair, that is how life is sometimes. So it is they do a really good, accurate job of representing life in a lot of different ways. But there are a lot of different things in 6 Feet Under that you just don't necessarily want to see or hear. And with that being said, when I watch it again, see, that's the thing. This is where I'm at right now. When I watch the show again, if and when I do, I want to watch it with TV Guardian or whatever. I want to watch it with some kind of sensor on it, and this might sound like complete blasphemy to some people, but that's That's just how it is. I mean, you can't, you really, it's not good to take in bad stuff, you know what I mean? And bad content, things like that all the time. You don't want to do that. There's a lot of F-bombs in the show. There's drug use, which I don't necessarily have a problem with the drug use, because I get it, and that doesn't bother me. It can be, it's a little touchy because it can be glorified a little bit at times. It can be played off as such a casual thing, and so that there's definitely some discretion there, but the language is pretty harsh, but it's also pretty realistic. I mean, lifelike, like people in life, everyday life, real emotions, real expressions, real experiences, you know. And you know, there is sexual content in it too that you know, I don't like to mention, but it's in there. So you know, you just have to be careful. You have to be careful about what you watch. I would never encourage anyone to watch Game of Thrones ever, just straight off the bat. Like, not in a million years would I recommend that show for any reason. Just no. It's too bad, in my opinion. It's just too bad. It just has so much junk in it that it's just not even worth even trying to watch in a filtered way or anything. You know, so I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life at all. The only reason I'm really about the life of 6 Feet Under is because of how profound of a show it is, or was. But this might be a really boring video. Hopefully it's not, but because you know what, when I looked up reviews, I was just trying to watch some review videos on YouTube about 6 Feet Under. I couldn't find very many, so that really just, and watching those review videos made me want to make my own. So I want to put this into my own words and put it out there and make my little review type of video. Anyway, I give the show 6 Feet Under. I want to give it a 5 out of 5, but my personal score is probably a 4 out of 5, because my personal score, because and you know what, to be fair, if it was on like regular network TV, you know, and it didn't have like F words and sex scenes and stuff like that in it, or certain things, then it could seem watered down. I mean, it could be watered down for sure in the grand scheme of things. Like, really horrible, terrible things happen in life sometimes. Really unavoidably ugly and horrible, heinous things happen in life. And sometimes you see some of those things up close, right? But I just think that overall, I mean, I don't know. The people in the show live much more loosey-goosey lives than I do. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean like I guess maybe in a moral way, or I'm not sure how to explain it really. But the things that happen in their lives aren't necessarily the kinds of things that happen in my life. Like, and it's not that I'm sheltered. It's just that, you know, I focus on certain things. I'm a very religious person, or very, I'm a very religiously dedicated person, and because of that, I found that not a lot of crazy, messed up things happen in my life. Fortunately, ugly, dirty, nitty-gritty things. You know, like people cussing you out your face, or like hearing vulgar words and things like that. That just doesn't happen in my life very much, thankfully. And really, honestly, thankfully, I'm thankful that doesn't happen, you know. And some people are just so desensitized to it that they don't even notice it, or they don't even realize that, they don't even know it's bad, or it doesn't faze them, or they're numb to it, they're used to it, or whatever. And I used to be like that for a time. Kind of when I was watching the show, and the show kind of edged me in that direction a little bit more. But that's not how I want to be. I love all the characters in the show, and I love the honesty. I think one of my favorite things about the show is the emotional honesty, the raw emotion, the raw emotional intensity, not being afraid to tackle certain issues and that sort of thing. And I will be honest, it's a TV show, and it's made in Hollywood, right? And it's made, TV shows and actors and all are generally left-leaning, if not very liberal. And so there is some liberality to the show politically. There's certain political issues in the show. They're, you know, they have a token Republican character at the end of the show. You know what I mean? And to me, he was just a total token Republican character. Like, to me, he stood out. And he was like the odd man. He seemed to be like one of the most inauthentic no offense to the actor or anything, but he just didn't seem as believable as some of the other characters. But at the same time, all the other characters were very, in my opinion, very liberal characters. And that's just how it is sometimes. And that makes sense. This is Southern Los Angeles, or Southern California, the show took place in. But anyway, some of the main reasons why I like this show so much is because it focuses on life and death. And one thing that's really interesting, I had this thought right before I made this video, is that while you're living your life, you can have a perspective of life and death in the back of your mind, or you can think about it. You could really spend a lot of time focusing about it. You could focus a lot on it, and you could focus and live your life from a focal point of thinking about how precious life is, which is actually pretty good, and that's actually a good thing to do. But in my life, I found my gauge kind of going back and forth a little bit, and now it's a little bit more, not necessarily lax, but I'm just not in the same place as I was before. Before, I was like, oh my gosh, everything we have is all we have, and we need to make the most of it. And like, when it's gone, and that's it, And now I have less of an urgent type of feeling, which might sound bad, but it's actually, I have less of that feeling because I realized that God is real, and He loves us, and He protects us, and He will be with us. And the more we pursue Him in our lives, the more He'll be with us. And just how this life isn't all we've got. Yes, it is important, of course. And I'm definitely not saying take your life for granted. Not in a million years would I say that or argue that, no. But what I am saying is that when you know that there is eternal life after this life, it kind of lightens your load a little bit, or at least loosens, in my opinion, loosens you up a little bit. And I think I'm different than a lot of people in this. I mean, I don't know. But, it's just crazy. Like, we do have this life. It only lasts so long, and that's such a precious thing. Life is seriously a precious gift, and that is one of the best things about 6 Feet Under, the show, is that it points that out, and it shows that, and it helps remind us to cherish life and appreciate life. And that's one of my favorite things about the show. It's a deep, hard-hitting, touching show, and it does wake you up. It wakes you up from a lot of things, a lot of, passivity, I'd say, for sure. It does wake you up from that. But yeah, it's a really, really great show, and it's super emotional. You do get attached to the characters, or you can get attached to the characters. And they go through so much, just like we do in our everyday lives. And here is one really nice, this is like the blessing of watching 6 Feet Under. So like I was saying before, when you live your life, you can have a perspective of life and death. But the point of life is to live it, right? Like, you're supposed to live, right? You're not supposed to, you could hyperfixate on death and life and how we're supposed to savor every second and all this stuff. And focus on that too much to where you don't enjoy life, which would mean you're missing the point, right? And that is sad. And so to some degree we have to get lost in the moment, right? Some degree we have to just enjoy life, right? That's what it's about. We're supposed to enjoy life. But we shouldn't lose focus of death. Like memento mori, right? I think that is translated to mean be mindful of death. And or at least that's something that I was taught or saw. And so, yeah, we should be mindful of death, but we should also not be afraid to live. And just be conscious while we live that we only have so much time, and we need to make it count, right? The things we do have to be important, and that's where the eye-opening experience comes from. But yeah, I just wanted to share these thoughts about the video, and I could go into the show a little bit more and talk about the characters and everything, but I don't feel like doing that right now. But I do now. I love all the characters in the show, and they're all unique. They all represent something different in all of us, I think. Some people, obviously some people can relate to certain characters more than others, but there's just a lot of dynamics and a lot of great depth in the show. And it is a drama, but it's not like a melodrama, as it's been said, where it's like, kind of like a soap opera-y kind of drama. It's more so like a real life kind of drama, if that makes sense. So it's pretty realistic, but it keeps comic. There's comic undertones, and that's one of the beautiful things about it. One of the blessings about it is that there is dark humor, yeah, but it's that kind that's like, it tastes so good, you know what I mean? And there is some messed up stuff in it for sure. There are some really intense things in the show that you should just not watch, or not watch until you're ready, because it's pretty intense. But with that said, it is an experience. It is a roller coaster ride. You won't necessarily come out unscathed by watching this show. This show will leave a mark on you. You know what I mean? Not necessarily I wouldn't say necessarily in a bad way, but like I said before about the content, you just have to be careful about what kind of stuff you take in, because you don't want to put a bunch of bad stuff in your life. And the show is definitely, it's TV MA rating, so it's got a lot of language and sex, and not a lot of sex, but it's got enough sex to where you need to be like, okay, you need to take your time discerning whether it's appropriate or okay for you. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, with that said, it's one of the best shows. Like I said, it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. If I had to rank like my favorite shows of all time, I would say, in no particular order, just the way that this comes out, I would say The Twilight Zone, X-Files, Stargate SG-1. I might lose some points for that one, but I don't care. And maybe not. I may gain some points for it. Breaking Bad, 6 Feet Under. Dexter, I'd say, is an honorable mention. Dexter was good. Dexter was all right, We watched that and we enjoyed it, but it kind of trailed off there at the end, and it did kind of fall prey to lackluster writing, I think, definitely at times. But yeah, Dexter's a honorable mention. Those are my favorite shows, really. The Outer Limits, the original Outer Limits, is up there for sure, I'd say. I haven't watched as much of that as I have the other shows I've mentioned. But yeah, Breaking Bad is up there for sure, of course. And yeah, don't want to ramble too much longer here, so I'm going to cut this video short. But yeah, 6 Feet Under is such a great show, and you should definitely watch it. I suggest watching it with some parental controls on, or something like that, or TV Guardian, or TVG if you have that, or whatever the stuff is that you can get nowadays that I don't have yet, but that I want. Watch the show. It's a really great show, and I highly recommend it. So I encourage you to watch it. And nowadays, it's going to be heard of less and less, because it ended in 2005, which is a long time ago. But it has such a special place in my memory, in my being. It's really sad, because it was a really special show, and I really wish that I got to watch it when it was on TV, but I just wasn't old enough at the time. I watched it way after the show was over on DVD, and I sought them all out, and I bought all the DVD seasons and watched them all. And it changed my life. It was a companion to me more than my companion was at the time, and that wasn't necessarily my companion's fault, but in certain ways, I guess I don't blame her, really. It was just, But anyway, I watched this movie, and it occupied it. It was meaningful to me. It was very meaningful to me. So, yeah, there you go. 6 Feet Under, the show. It's really good. Check it out, but be careful, and censor it some kind of way, or or don't watch it at all. But yeah, it's pretty rough, but it's a good show. If you can watch it, if it didn't come with all the nonsense, it would just be, like I said, a 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10, but it is a 4 out of 5 for me, or 4.5 out of 5, or an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I think it's a 9. It's definitely at least a 9 out of 10 for me, for sure. It's probably honestly about 9.6, I'd say. It's pretty high, but yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you, my viewers. I thank you for watching, and have a great day. Take advantage of this day that you have. This day isn't just like a whatever. This day is not just like a meaningless passing of time or anything like that. This day is a gift. It's an opportunity. There's so many chances to do things, and so take advantage of it. And I'm going to try to accept my own challenge and do that myself. So have a great day.